What if I told you that one decision, one moment of arrogance, can change everything in your life forever? Listen closely, because this is a story you cannot unhear. Her name was Leona, and she worked in one of the largest companies in the city. She was ambitious, outspoken, and fearless, but there was a flaw no one could ignore. She didn't respect warnings. Her boss had noticed it early. Gentle reminders, friendly advice, even direct instructions. Leona brushed them aside, smiling as if rules didn't apply to her. Colleagues whispered about her boldness, some admiring it, some fearing the chaos it could cause. One morning, a critical project landed on her desk. Her boss gave her a warning. "Leona, this project is delicate. Follow the steps carefully. One mistake, and it could cost us dearly." Leona laughed softly. "Relax, I got this," she said. "I know what I'm doing." And with that, she ignored the warning entirely. But here's the thing. Sometimes ignoring a warning isn't just risky. It's a first step toward paying a price you can't undo. Stay with me, because what happens next will haunt this office forever and teach a lesson without a single word spoken. Leona dove into the project with her usual confidence. She skipped steps, dismissed advice, and trusted only her own instincts. A small group of colleagues who admired her boldness cheered her on silently, convinced she could do no wrong. But the warning lingered in the quiet corners of the office. Her boss had seen this before, the subtle signs of overconfidence turning into disaster. As the days passed, cracks began to show. Emails piled up. Data didn't match. A report she had rushed through contained errors that could have been caught if she had just followed instructions. Still, Leona laughed it off. "It's minor, nothing to worry about. I'll fix it later." But the office has a way of showing consequences. Warnings ignored don't vanish. They echo back. And for Leona, the first echo was about to arrive. What she didn't know was that this was only the beginning, and the real prize was yet to come. The day arrived for the project review. The conference room was tense, filled with managers and clients who had been expecting flawless results. Leona walked in confidently, smiling as if the warning she had ignored didn't exist. At first, everything seemed fine. She presented her work with energy, pointing to charts and numbers. Some of her colleagues nodded along, impressed by her bold presentation style. Even her boss remained silent, waiting for the moment that was always inevitable when rules are ignored. Then came the first question. "Leona, can you explain why these numbers don't match the previous report?" Leona hesitated, but quickly recovered with a shrug. There must be a small error in the data transfer. Nothing serious. But the small error was not small. It was the first of many cracks, unnoticed because she had ignored every warning. Clients frowned, murmuring to one another. Her boss's eyes narrowed, not in anger yet, but in careful observation. The meeting continued, and more discrepancies appeared. A formula in her spreadsheet was wrong, a deadline had been miscalculated, and a crucial memo had been ignored. By the end of the hour, the room was filled with tension so thick it could have been sliced with a knife. Leona's admirers shifted uncomfortably in their seats. Her confidence could no longer mask the damage she had caused. For the first time, she felt the weight of the warnings she had ignored pressing down on her. After the meeting, her boss pulled her aside. "Leona, I warned you. These mistakes could have been avoided. This isn't just about numbers, it's about trust." Leona smiled nervously, trying to brush it off, but inside she felt a tremor of fear. The office, once a place where her confidence made her untouchable, suddenly felt like a trap. She had ignored the warning, and now she could see, paying the price wasn't coming. It was already here. Leona walked through the office that morning like she owned it. Her colleagues whispered behind her back, half in admiration, half in exasperation. Her small circle of supporters chuckled at every daring move she made, convinced she could never fail. The project loomed large, but Leona didn't feel pressure. In her mind, warnings were for others, cautious people who hesitated and doubted themselves. She ignored the step-by-step instructions her boss had carefully outlined. She scoffed at the reminders in her emails, even leaving one unopened because, as she thought, "I know better." Her day was a flurry of shortcuts and improvisations. She skipped data checks, left memos unread, and confidently assured anyone who questioned her that everything was under control. In the break room, a colleague tried to caution her again. "Leona, maybe you should double-check the figures before the meeting. It could save a lot of trouble." Leona waved her hand dismissively. "I've got this. Don't worry about me. I always get it done." Her supporters laughed, clinking their coffee cups in agreement. The office, for a moment, seemed to bend around her confidence. She felt untouchable, unstoppable, invincible. But deep down, even the smallest whisper of doubt, the echo of the warning she ignored, was there, almost imperceptible. She didn't hear it. She refused to hear it. She ignored the warning, and the world was still smiling at her, for now. By midweek, the office had begun to notice a pattern. Leona's work was fast, flashy, and bold, but something fell off. Small details were being overlooked. Emails went unanswered. Numbers didn't quite add up, but no one dared confront her directly. Her charm and confidence made people hesitate. Leona, meanwhile, was oblivious to the murmurs. She walked through the hallways, laughing with her clique, confident that everything she did was perfect. "I don't need anyone to tell me how to do this," she thought. Warnings are for the cautious, not the capable. Even her boss, who had given her clear instructions, noticed the cracks forming, but Leona didn't see it. She double-booked meetings, ignored minor inconsistencies in the data, and proudly sent her draft reports without a second look. In the cafeteria, one colleague whispered, "Something feels off, she's rushing things." Another shrugged, "She's always like this. Bold, unstoppable, maybe it's working." Leona caught part of the conversation but smiled and walked on. "Let them talk," she thought. "I don't need anyone to believe in me. I know I'm right." The office watched her brilliance with a mix of awe and unease. Everyone could sense that a storm was brewing, even if it hadn't arrived yet. She ignored the warning, and with every step she took, the prize quietly edged closer. Late one evening, the office was nearly empty. Leona sat at her desk, typing rapidly, humming to herself, completely absorbed in a world of shortcuts and confidence. The project deadline was looming, but she felt no pressure. After all, she had ignored every warning, and nothing had gone wrong so far. Then a small ping startled her. It was an email from the client, a clarification question about one of the figures she had submitted. Leona glanced at it, frowned briefly, and then dismissed it. "It's probably a minor detail. I'll fix it later," she muttered, unconcerned. Meanwhile, across the office, her boss reviewed the data quietly. A pattern was starting to emerge. Minor errors, skipped steps, overlooked notes. Each one alone seemed insignificant, but together they hinted at trouble. If this story is speaking to something inside you, this channel was created for you. On Echoes of Wisdom, every story is told to leave you wiser than before. Subscribe and walk this journey with us. Leona's clique, ever loyal, encouraged her. "You're amazing, Leona. Don't stress over the small stuff. You always pull it off." She smiled and nodded, confident as ever. The thrill of being untouchable surged through her veins. But sometimes, the first cracks appear not as disasters, but as whispers. An uneasy glance from a colleague, a subtle frown from a manager, a quiet doubt in the back of your mind. And that is exactly what was happening to Leona, the first hints of a storm she refused to see. She ignored the warning, and yet the echoes of consequence were already stirring, waiting for the moment she could no longer ignore them. It was the day before the project deadline, and the office hummed with quiet urgency. Leona, as usual, breezed through her tasks with a trademark confidence. She laughed at reminders from colleagues and ignored messages from her boss. Then it happened, a tiny but critical oversight. A data entry she had skipped earlier caused a formula in a spreadsheet to show a glaring inconsistency. For a moment, she didn't notice. A junior colleague spotted it and hesitated. Leona, this number, it doesn't add up," they whispered. Leona glanced at it and chuckled. "Don't worry, it's fine. I've got it all under control. she said, waving it off. The colleague stepped back, uneasy. The warning was clear, but Leona ignored it. She continued her work, unaware that this tiny slip was the first domino in a chain that could unravel everything. Even her loyal clique noticed a flicker of unease among others in the office. Yet, they reassured her, "Don't listen to them. You always make it work." Leona believed them. She believed herself. Her arrogance blinded her to the subtle signs, the almost imperceptible tension in the room, the faint murmurs of concern, the small sparks of warning that had begun to appear. She ignored the warning, yet fate had already started stacking the pieces. The prize was not here yet, but it was closer than she could imagine. The final hours before submission were chaos for everyone, except Leona. She worked at her desk with a smug smile, convinced she was untouchable. Every alert, every reminder, every quiet warning from her boss or colleagues, she ignored them all. Small mistakes, unnoticed before, were now stacking like invisible dominoes. A misplaced figure here, an unchecked calculation there, a memo she had never read. Each was a tiny spark, ready to ignite the firestorm. A client sent a polite but pointed email asking for clarification. A manager noticed inconsistencies in her report and shook their head silently. Even her loyal clique, the ones who had cheered her on, began to exchange uneasy glances. Leona, oblivious, leaned back in her chair and whispered to herself, "I told you, I don't need anyone's warnings. Everything is perfect." She didn't hear the subtle sighs around her. She didn't see the tension tightening like a noose. The office, usually buzzing with routine, felt charged, like the calm before a storm. Warnings had been ignored. Small signs had been missed. Yet she walked confidently toward the moment when the prize would arrive, unaware, unstoppable, and unprepared. The day of submission arrived, and the office was unusually quiet. Leona walked into the meeting room, smiling, confident that she had everything under control. Her clique sat nearby, nodding approvingly. The presentation began. At first, it went smoothly. Charts, graphs, and a usual flair kept everyone engaged. But then a senior manager raised a hand. "Leona, can you explain why these numbers don't match the projections we received yesterday?" Leona blinked. "They, must be rounding differences," she said quickly, brushing it off. But the manager persisted, pointing to more discrepancies. Then a client spoke up. "Some of these figures don't reflect what we agreed on. Can we verify this?" A ripple went through the room. Whispers, side glances. Even her supporters shifted uncomfortably. Leona's confidence faltered for the first time. I'll fix it," she stammered. Her boss finally spoke, calm but firm. "Leona, I warned you. These mistakes could have been avoided. Now the project is compromised and the clients are questioning us. This isn't just numbers, it's credibility." The room fell silent. Leona realized, in that moment, that the warnings she had ignored were not empty words. They had been lifelines she had thrown away. She ignored the warning, and now, for the first time, the prize had begun to arrive. The aftermath was unavoidable. Emails poured in from clients, highlighting mistakes that could no longer be brushed aside. Managers called meetings to address discrepancies. Colleagues who had once admired her began double-checking her work, whispering behind her back. Leona sat at her desk, stunned. The office that had once felt like a playground for her confidence now felt like a cage. She could no longer rely on charm or bravado. Every ignored warning, every shortcut, every dismissal of advice had led to this moment. Her boss approached quietly, not with anger, but with disappointment. "Leona, I gave you every warning, every instruction. You ignored them. This is the cost." Leona swallowed hard. For the first time, she truly understood. The warnings were never obstacles. They were protection. And she had thrown that protection away in the name of arrogance. Even her loyal clique could not shield her from reality. Admiration only lasts as long as results do. Confidence alone could not fix the damage now. Days later, Leona worked under supervision, rebuilding trust step by step. She was quieter now, more deliberate, listening more than speaking. The project was eventually salvaged, but the lesson remained etched into her mind, and the office never forgot it either. She ignored the warning, and she paid the price. But what she learned in the wreckage was worth more than any shortcut could ever have offered. Respect, responsibility, and humility are the true currency of success. The echoes of her story lingered in the office long after her mistakes had been corrected, a warning to anyone who believes that warnings are meant to be ignored. Stories end, but wisdom stays. If you believe stories can change the way we see life, welcome to Echoes of Wisdom. Subscribe and let every story leave you better than it found you.